Tonight I'm in Brisbane City, and as much as I love the peace and the calm of the countryside, I'm just like a kid in a candy store in the city. The bright lights and the vibrancy of a city that's pumping with life. So what I thought I would do tonight is I'll go walkabout in the dark to see how different the city looks after dark. So this building opposite me here, the Treasury Building, this was built in 1886. The building took place over several decades as the area around here expanded with shipping, trade and population growth. The building was the centre of government administration and was designed to impress. It sure is impressive, with huge sandstone walls, decorative arches, iron balconies, inspired by European Renaissance architecture. Quite cool, isn't it? Even at night, that impressive building behind me dominates the local CBD area with all its towers and modern buildings. And here we have Queen Victoria. Now I've seen the statue in the daytime, but I can't remember what that plaque says. 1837 to 1901. Now this gorgeous building is also a heritage listed building. It's the Treasury Hotel. I'm just going to take a little look inside. And just over the road is one of my favourite old buildings in Queensland, in Brisbane I mean, the Commissariat Store. I never seem to get this pronunciation correct. I meant the Commissariat Store. At that time, Brisbane was a remote punishment settlement, surrounded by thick bushland and controlled by soldiers. I'm hoping you can see it, but these walls down here are the original walls built by those convicts. So convicts quarried the stone down there in those walls by hand from nearby cliffs and hauled the heavy blocks themselves, of course, under strict military supervision. One of those men was Patrick Logan, who was the commandant of the Moreton Bay Penal Colony during the late 1820s and became known for his strict discipline. Convicts under Logan's control helped build many of Brisbane's earliest structures, including roads, farms and buildings like the Commissariat Store. Wow, look at that. There's the Skydeck up there. That's quite a cool contrast. Skydeck, which is quite new, over the Commissariat Store, which was built in 1829. I do know that you can get down some steps here to the, I think it's the front side of the store. All the bright lights of the city. There's a sign somewhere here, I'm sure of it. Oh, there it is. So it says here, all goods and provisions shipped in and out of the colony of Queensland were stored in this building. Tools, weapons, clothing and food were all distributed from here, while produce such as wool, maize and timber were stored before being loaded onto ships at Queen's Wharf, usually bound for Sydney. After the closure of the penal settlement in 1842, the building had varied uses as a bond store, police office, immigrant depot, state archives and government stonemason store. What's on this side? The Commissariat Store is one of only a few remaining buildings still standing from the original Moreton Bay penal settlement. Locally quarried stone, hand-cut floorboards and handmade nails were all used to construct the store, but the construction was not without incident, with one of the convicts reportedly murdered by a pickaxe to the head. Jeez. Oh, now look at this. This is cool. What beautiful colours. Wow. And the Commissariat Store over there still looks impressive from over here. I like what they've done with those lights. So that noise above me is the Brisbane motorway. Behind me, of course, is the city's Ferris wheel and the relatively new Neville Bonner Bridge. So what I plan to do is walk up the river a bit more, cross over Kurilpa Bridge and come back to this side of the city over the Neville Bonner Bridge. Now, like some of the Convict buildings around Brisbane, first as a transport route carrying cargo and passengers. Oh wow, look at those lights, they've just changed colour. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that's right. The Brisbane River shaping the history of Brisbane. It was a transport route carrying cargo, passengers and supplies into the growing settlement. Oh wow, now there's one of those city cats going by. What a stunning picture that is. The colours, the water, the boats. The river, of course, for anybody who lives around the Brisbane area, has also caused some destruction over the years. The major floods that the river has sometimes, the most major ones being in 1841, 1893, 1974 and 2011. And I'm pretty sure there was another decent flood around 2022, I think. Entire areas of Brisbane disappear underwater. Now apparently there's some flood markers around here somewhere. Queen's Wharf, originally known as King's Wharf, built in 1827. Convicts and military disembarked, provisions unloaded. Brisbane's only landing place in the early 19th century. The wharf, dilapidated by 1842, rebuilt in 1843 for a ferry service linking North and South Brisbane. Queen's Wharf, built in 1827, entry for immigrants in 1848 until the 1880s. Oh, I didn't realise the camera was so low. The wharf was wrecked and rebuilt several times after major floods, but I still haven't found the markers. I wonder where they are. I think they're just scattered around the city. So now I'm heading towards the Kurilpa Bridge. Hang on, is that how you pronounce it? I was correct, it is Kurilpa Bridge. What's the time? It's 7:20 in the evening, so I feel quite safe walking around this area at this time of the evening. Whoa, that guy was close. What was I just saying? I feel safe. Well, I do really, but I didn't really expect to be knocked over by somebody. River Loop. I have never walked under this before. What I think I will do is I'm going to duck up here and continue the walk to Kurilpa Bridge along the streets. Oh, you get the whiff of car fumes up here. There it is. Kurilpa Bridge opened relatively recently in 2009. It was designed for cyclists and pedestrians only, using a complex cable system known as tensegrity design. Even at night, the bridge almost appears suspended above the water like a glowing web of steel cables. Now, the name Kurilpa comes from the local indigenous meaning, place of the rat, or the water rat. Ew. Can I get over there? No, I don't think I can. That means I'll have to go back this way and cross over. Kurilpa Bridge. Jeez, that gave me a fright. Cool, look at that. Gosh, if this were the country with all these lights on, there'd be a heap of mosquitoes and other bugs flying around. I found this plaque here just as I've walked off the Kurilpa Bridge. Kuril Dreaming is a love story about the Billy Bag girl who made dilly bags with the kangaroo marsupial rat as her totem. Oh right, there's the rat relevance. And it's also in Braille. These things look like hoses, garden hoses. Oh, they are. This is quite cool actually. It is, it's a massive garden hose. Look at that. Now, I don't know about you. Ooh, bright light. I'm quite familiar with one of these garden hoses. Now, what's an elephant doing on its head for? This sculpture, called The World Turns, created in 2011 by a New Zealand artist, shows a native water rat, otherwise known as Kuril, overturning a giant elephant. The Kuril gave Kurilpa Point its name and symbolises quiet strength and local First Nations caretakers. Well, I messed that up, didn't I? The plan was to walk along the South Bank. I got distracted by that massive garden hose though. On the opposite side of the river is the South Bank walkway. This area around this part of the river was once full with docks, warehouses and industrial buildings, which were all connected to Brisbane's river trade. Of course, everything changed in 1988, when the World Expo 88 transformed this riverfront here into a thriving, buzzing international expo. Expo 88 became a turning point for Brisbane, transforming the entire city, modernising the city's image and changing the shape of the riverside here. So after the event was finished, the area was turned into a parklands area instead of private development. And not far from this area, in fact right over there, stands the Brisbane Ferris wheel. Gosh, there's a few people just out enjoying the calm evening atmosphere here. That stunning Ferris wheel behind me, Brisbane's Ferris wheel, was opened in 2008 for Queensland's 150th anniversary. It was meant to be temporary, but they decided to make it a permanent fixture and leave it there. Geez, look at those fit young things running. Now somewhere around here should be the Nepalese pagoda. Oh, there it is, right over there. Why is the Nepalese Peace Pagoda at South Bank Parklands? The Nepalese Peace Pagoda was originally commissioned and installed at South Bank for Expo 88. Following its success, it became a coveted item with several international bidders vying to keep it. Wow. That is so cool. Look at that. The Ferris wheel right behind me and the Peace Pagoda overlooking the Brisbane River. Traditional Nepalese woodworkers carved all the detail in these timber panels. The 3-storey high pagoda features over 80 tonnes of hand-carved Nepalese timber. Wow. Right, now to walk over the Neville Bonner Bridge, and I think I might head over to the sky deck. The Neville Bonner Bridge is one of Brisbane's more recent structures built, opened in 2024. The bridge links the South Bank behind me directly to Brisbane's CBD. The Neville Bonner Bridge is named after Neville Bonner, who was the first Aboriginal Australian to serve in Parliament. He became an important figure in Indigenous representation and Australian politics. So while I'm in the city, I thought it would be a good idea to check out the Sky Deck at night. Now, no laughing at my Kiwi accent. Sky Deck. I mean, deck. Oh, it helps if I face the right way. I'm not very good at those. Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, keep your eye.
Now I'm at the top of the Sky Deck. The Sky Deck overlooking the city. Wow, 2% remaining. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next one.